to the top of the world, but the North Star is already flown. I hear rumors of a place where the soul was born. And watch all the bright lights shimmer, try to see something where there is none. And I really believe that I could touch the sun. Still a chance we can make it if we hold on hope. It's what I'm saying, but the words don't come out right. Who's inside my mind? Who's inside my mind? Everything is alright, but I keep seeing ghosts in the daylight. Who's inside my mind?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Paracrew Podcast. I know you're all looking forward to having Matt around, but unfortunately, he's got some things to take care of. So tonight, I, myself, the Shadow, along with the legendary and humorous Emmie of PDX Paranormal.
Hey, everyone.
So we got a very interesting guest tonight, and before I bring him on, real quick, I just want to do some shout out. One is to Brian John Laverty of Paracrew. If you don't know what that is a fantastic streaming service for paranormal podcasts. You can check him out on Facebook. He also has an app, Paracrew, and it's available for both Android and iOS. The next one would be Stephen Woodard of the Paralink. Great bunch of people over there. I myself had a chance to work with them and talk with them. It's another place to go check out for a paranormal podcast. So check out the Paralinks. And if you're interested in the Global Ghost Hunt and Fear Fest, Make sure you stick around because we have commercials that'll tell you everything you need to know about it. Last but not least, Maglite. These guys are amazing. You definitely want to check them out. They've got great flashlight. It's all made here in America. You know, we investigated. We are out in the dark, so it's nice to have a little extra light.
Get the Maglite, which
For sure.
I don't have one in my collection. Why is that?
Don't look at me. I didn't do anything. This isn't my deal. I mean, come on.
Who do I need to go ruffle up to get a Maglite?
Without going to jail first, I'm not sure.
Okay, fine.
So
We'll figure it out.
but
Well, we got
yeah,
an interesting guest tonight, don't we?
for sure. So
Definitely.
let's get him on, and we will introduce him to everybody. He is an author. He is a paranormal researcher. He just released a book, The Hayes House, which you will be able to find that online. So let's bring in Keith Evan.
I couldn't find my hand clapping thing, so I'll clap my hands for him. Hi, Keith.
Hello.
He's a dark.
Yeah, that's my new Flare C5 thermal imager. So when you're in a place with no lights, this is what the thermal image camera shows you.
I see nothing.
You don't see anything?
I see your glasses.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
There we
Yep.
go. Okay.
I keep
Wow,
forgetting.
that is cool.
I keep forgetting that using my cell phone instead of my laptop, it's reversed.
Right.
But you can
Nice.
see it shows you the range in temperature in Fahrenheit,
Uh-huh.
which the coolest areas, which are the dark purple, would be about 63.4 degrees Fahrenheit. The warmest temperatures, which would be about the yellow, is about 74.6. And I don't know if you can see that little center target.
Mhm.
That is the top number, which is 69.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
And it's on the yellow right now. Let me see if I can get it over to the purple. On the purple, you can see it's 68.0 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
So the purple is for colder, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to make sure. My brain, I get confused on stuff. So, okay, awesome. Is this your product, your flare camera, or did you purchase it?
Yes. It's made by Flare.
Okay, and it's for your
Now-
cell phone.
Excuse me?
It's for your cell phone.
No, that's the Pro 1. I'm not using that tonight because I can't, because I could have if we were on the laptop, but I could not connect with you, and I would have to connect with the Flare app, so that would cut you
Right.
off. Let me
Okay.
see. Now that's the heater. You can see the heater is about 75.7 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's let me go up to the hottest part, which is really bright. White is like the hottest color. Then you work your way down to yellow, orange getting cooler, red getting cooler, purple is cooler, and blue and dark blue and black is the coldest.
Okay.
Right.
When it's in the black range, probably what is the temperature for the black? Would it be like below freezing? Like,
Well, possibly. I think it is based on the scale. Can you see over to your far left where it says 64.8 at the bottom?
Mhm.
yes.
And it almost shows you that little thin scale. So the 64 is the purple. And then the bright yellow or possibly white would be your 77.4. So it kind of scales it down. It can read down to, I think, about 0 degrees Fahrenheit, if not 4 degrees below zero. So if we were in a very cold temperature, that 4 degrees below zero would be at the bottom of that bar would be your purple. And then if the warmest area, say in the sunlight, if it was at the North Pole in the snow, the warmest area, 32 degrees, would be your yellow. So it's all relative to the environment that you're in.
Right.
Can you see the full page by the way I'm holding it?
No, it's white. There we go. It's starting to come in.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, do you use this on every investigation?
Well, no, I've only had it, I guess, about a month or so. So I take it sometimes and sometimes I don't. It just depends. The last time I went to the graveyard in Apalachicola, the Chestnut Street Cemetery. Can you see now the room?
A little bit,
No. Okay, there we go. Yep, right there. Perfect.
When I went there, I took this in attempts to see if I could find any cool air rising up from the ground to maybe indicate an old cave or an old tunnel. Because in the past, I heard rumors that they had a tunnel underneath the ground. I'm not sure where the entrance or exit, was located, but wouldn't that be a perfect place to hide the entrance of a tunnel?
Mm-hmm.
And then they could move weapons or whatever they needed from either the bay or the river and then bring it in without being seen or shot or whatever.
Right.
And they could have done the same thing during Prohibition. Smugglers could have snuck in and utilized that tunnel to bring in alcohol.
Very
Right.
true. Very true on
Now,
that.
how old is that Chestnut Cemetery?
I think the first person was buried there the year that the Apalachicola was established,
Okay.
which is either 1830 or 1831.
Okay.
But a lot of the graves are unmarked.
Okay.
Right.
Now, with this, theoretically, you're looking at a ghost or spirit to be colder than the environment. So if a ghost or spirit was small enough to fit into the purple area, then they might just blend in. If the ghost or spirit is large enough to be seen and is in front of that yellow area or somewhere between the lens of my Flare C5 screen and the yellow area in the background, like that little bookcase,
Right.
then you would actually see an unexplained colder area.
Right.
So you almost have to have that contrast between the warm environment and possibly your cold ghost. And I have found that when a ghost or spirit does utilize the environment, draw energy from the environment to cause a cold spot, it doesn't last very long.
Right.
So you have to, you might spend 8 hours of filming and see one cold spot that might last a couple seconds.
Right.
So it is very time consuming and not quite as rewarding as having a millimeter or an Obelisk 5 or an Envoy, because you're getting some type of data, even if sometime you may not understand what all the words mean, but at least you're getting data. Sometimes you use this
Right.
for a whole, paranormal session and you don't have any paranormal data from it, no cold areas at all.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was living at the Hayes house right after Hurricane Michael, which my place got destroyed, it got
Sorry to
pretty
hear
much-
that.
it got wiped out, thanks, by the storm surge. I would just ask the ghosts of spirits at the Hayes house, can you all get together and draw some energy so I can pick you up on at that time I had the Flare TG165 thermal imager, and they would do it for me. I would whip out my flare TG165 thermal imager, and I would have a cold spot for at least a couple minutes. So that was so cool of them. But you almost have to build a relationship with the ghosts of spirits so they want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess I'll back off of this and turn on the light and let you see my ugly face for a while.
Right.
So would you recommend that for, paranormal investigators or anybody who's an paranormal enthusiast to actually get something like that? Or would that be maybe later on down the road?
Well, I will say one thing. It's expensive. And I have not read the whole manual yet. Can you see me good? Am I centered?
Yeah,
I'm not used to using the cell phone. But anyway, it can be expensive. So unless you have a lot of money, and once you get the C5, you're going to have to pay about $499 a year to be able to use the video part. And you have to store your video with Flare. They have like a storage system because the video will max you out in no time. Mm-hmm. So when you store it with Flare, I haven't investigated as far as how to get that back to use it for, say, the show, on a YouTube or whatever. But I want the evidence so I can show, or the paranormal data so I can show people. So right now, it's a very expensive tool. So unless you're making plenty of money through having a TV show, I can't say I can recommend it. Now, if there's people out there that have plenty of money and are making good money, go for it. But it's gonna cost you a lot.
What about, so it doesn't take, like, I know my flare gun.
I have no idea what just happened.
Well, my flare gun, I'll finish talking, actually takes one of the micro SDK cards. And that's what I was going to ask him. Is there a way you can use a micro SDK card?
Well, Flare does make a USB or a cell phone USB compatible camera. You just plug it right into the charging port on your cell phone. I have one.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic little thermal camera. It's a little bit limited in range, unlike the one that Keith Evans was showing. Mm-hmm. But it's still really handy to have. I used one at Foster Andrews Cemetery, and the weirdest thing, you couldn't see anything, and I take a picture, and I look up, and all I see is black, but then I look back at the camera and go through the pictures. There are heat vents or pillars of heat coming out of the plot.
Really?
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
Huh. So, folks in chat, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. People on YouTube side, Facebook side, where else? Parapost, many other websites. I can't think at this moment, but thank you guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here, joining us. We do have, like Shadow said, we have Keith Evans. I got that one right. We don't have him at the moment.
Yeah, we're trying to. We'll give him a few minutes to see if he comes back on. He might be having issues with his cell phone.
But the link has been sent to us. Keith, if you can hear us, try logging into your email again. Matt had sent you the link. Maybe you can click that and that will work. Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, I don't have anything from him on Messenger right now, so.
What the fuck just happened?
All right, well, we can kind of keep talking about the thermal camera for a little bit longer.
Okay.
But yeah, if you get the one that's compatible with your cell phone, they run at about $200. But you don't have to have a Flare account. You don't have to store it on a drive. You just record directly into your phone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got the Flare and I can add that micro SD card into
Mhm.
it.
Yeah, and that's another way that I think probably a wise idea to have, because a lot of times when you have, like, I've seen some thermal cameras that don't have a way to record or
Right.
save. They're just cameras and they're just used for like electrical work, things like that.
Mm.
Oh, looks like he's back.
Hey, welcome
right.
back.
Yeah, I imagine I have ghosts of spirits that know how to use my cell phone, so they can pretty much disconnect us whenever they want.
Right. Well, we were just talking about the another version made by Flare, and it's one where you can plug into your cell phone. They're a little bit more cost effective, but they're somewhat limited on range.
You talk about the Pro One.
Yeah, it's a little small one that you just plug into your cell phone.
Now, when you say range, you're saying you have to be close to the item?
Yeah, I mean, it's no good for anything bigger than a average size room.
Average size what?
Average size room.
So what, 10 by 12, you would say, or?
Yeah, I mean, anything beyond that, you'll still get some temperature readings the further out you get, but the clarity of the image becomes more blurred the further out you get, because it's that laser is getting weaker the further out it gets.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I've always used thermal images inside and in smaller places. So I've always been, I'd say, within 6 to 10 feet away from any object.
Right.
And it's always given me a pretty good thermal image of what I was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
If the room is the same temperature, you may not get very much discrimination to know what you're looking at. Like it has to almost be at night with the C1 or the C5 flare to be able to, have a discrimination of what you're looking at. But if it's daytime and the whole house is hot, the whole, dwelling that you're in is hot, there's no air conditioning, you might just have everything look yellow or everything look orange. And, but anyway, with the Pro One, they have different settings that you can utilize. I think I have my Pro One on rainbow setting, and I think it gives me the color differentiation that I'm used to, with similar to using the TG165.
Right.
So I like to be able to tell, usually a wooden object is going to be in a hot room is going to be between 60 and 65 degrees. It's going to be pretty, not hot, but not cold. And then any object that the sun is shining on, like the wall, will probably be 70 to 75 degrees. Now, if you have like a piece of metal or something that can heat up, then it might be even higher than that. It might be closer to white on your scale. But it's going to show a scale no matter what flare you use. If the hottest object in a room is 90 degrees, that object will be white. If the coldest object in the room, say, is, 50 degrees, then that's going to be black. If you have another object that's 60, it'll be blue. If it's 65, it'll be purple. And then on up, you'll have red as it gets warmer, and then orange to yellow to the hottest item. Right. So it just kind of hits a happy medium between what is the hottest or coldest temperature in the room, and then it divides that color code up between it.
Right.
Because otherwise, if everything in the room was, say, 70 degrees, you wouldn't be able to determine any differentiation at all. So I guess it's good in that way, even though, some people think that it's always, the darkest color is always going to be like a certain temperature close to, 0 degrees. Because I think most of the flares can measure down to 2 below or 4 below 0, I think, if I remember correctly. And then the hottest temperature, I think, is a little bit above 100 degrees, maybe 132 degrees or something. But
does it make a difference if you're outside or inside on how it performs? Like, do you get better clarity if you're inside investigating compared to at a cemetery?
They did say that you should not store any of the flare equipment in any environment over like 130 degrees. If it's over 130 degrees, it could cause problems or malfunctions in your flare equipment. So, if it's a real hot day and you have flare equipment, don't put it in the trunk of your car because it's too expensive to harm it in that way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. I'm one of those people. I'm like the gadget queen. A lot of people call me that out there. I love collecting and using all different kinds of equipment. What do you mainly use when you're out investigating besides a camera?
Well, before Hurricane Michael, I mainly used. I'm trying to think. IDE, I think it was called, which measured almost like a millimeter. It measured temperature, and it actually, if you were filming a paranormal session for like 1 hour with your camcorder, you could actually, there was a way with the IDE to find out what the temperature was at a certain time during your filming. You could actually, I never did it, but you could get a strip from them that would show your temperature and your electromagnetic energy on a timeline from the time you started your video camera to the time you end your session. That way you could match up and say, hey, I got 3 or 4 words on the obelisk at 6 o'clock. What was my temperature readings at 6 o'clock, and what was my electromagnetic readings? That way you could kind of pinpoint, was there any correlation between increased electromagnetic readings, while you get a word on the obelisk 5. But in the past, I've always put my millimeter and my obelisk 5 together, and they don't interfere with one another. Some people think they do, but they don't. But upon getting a word on the obelisk 5, at that time, I think I had an obelisk 4 before Hurricane Michael, but it got washed away. But now I have an obelisk 5B. But I didn't see any correlation just by having them sitting in front of me as to upon getting a word on the obelisk 5, there was no increase in electromagnetic energy and no temperature change. But ghosts of spirits are so small compared to us. Relatively, once we pass away, our electromagnetic energy is just a small packet of so small you couldn't see it with a naked eye. So if a ghost or spirit is manipulating the obelisk 5B, they're not big enough to reach over and manipulate the millimeters, electromagnetic reading at the same time. They can pretty much pinpoint.
I've noticed that too. Being out there in the field and stuff, having different devices like all right there. Sometimes they only have enough energy to do one device, or you can have them, talk to them and they'll interact with two different devices. Now, you got something I've been dreaming of getting. Where did you get an Ovilus? That's the only thing I don't have.
Well, it's a company called gosh, I'm trying to think of the name right now.
It wouldn't be ITC,
Digital
would it?
dowsing.
Oh, okay.
Digital dowsing.
I have that Ovilus app, yeah.
Oh, so
Well,
it's an
that's-
Ovilus app. It's not the Ovilus itself.
I ordered it online. Is that what you're
okay.
asking?
Yeah, so it's
Well-
digital dowsing.
Yeah,
Yes.
they make two of them. They make an actual physical Ovilus, and then they have an app that you can download.
Okay.
The app,
Iffy.
it's iffy, just because I have concerns of it being connected to a Wi-Fi system,
Oh, okay.
and the app is only available on iOS, anyways.
Right.
But yeah,
I don't
Digital
know.
Dowsing,
I
I've heard of that company. They're pretty good.
Digital dowsing. Where are they based out of?
I'm not sure. I think it's out in the Midwest.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to say Michigan, maybe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The gentleman that used to, I guess he's still in charge of it. I bought my Ovilus 5 in 2020, and I haven't been back to that site since. But he used to be on one TV program a lot, and he seemed to always show up when they were out in the Midwest, and they would always say that when they were close to wherever he lived or worked, they would attempt to meet up with him and have him on the show.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
But I don't honestly know where he lives.
All right.
Right.
Is that where you get a lot of your equipment, or where do you get your equipment from? Different sources out there, or do you
Well,
make
in
your
the
own?
in the past, I've used. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think. It's near Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It's a man that used to live in New Jersey. I can't think of the name, but recently I've been using Ghost Stop, and Ghost Stop
Yep.
is near Orlando, Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen.
That's where I got my Envoy, and I went ahead and I've ordered a EVP. I've never used it because my hearing's not that good from the Army, and I usually
Thank you for your service.
EVPs to me just sound like a bunch of gargled, sounds,
Right.
which sometimes when people talk, it's the same way. So a lot of times
Right.
people get upset with me when they say, well, what do you hear? I'm going to send you my EVP. And I say, well, I hear a lot of gargled sound, and they think somehow I'm picking on them or something, but I
Right.
got to be honest, that's what I
Yeah.
hear. So I
Um,
bought one just to see if there might be ghosts of spirits that would be kind enough to yell out an EVP so that I could
Mhm.
clearly understand what they're saying.
Right.
I've been thinking about getting that Envoy. What's your thoughts of it?
Well, I have not had a lot of time to work with the Envoy. If I do take it on a paranormal session, a lot of times it's just a bunch of letters that don't
Yeah.
even make up a word. And
Okay.
I have to go with something I know is reliable, so I get some type of data so I can draw conclusions at the end. I will say that the Envoy yes or no is very reliable.
Okay.
One time I was doing I put like these little promos of my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel called Paranormal Short Sessions by Keith Evans. where
I'm
I
gonna
put
make
on
that and
the
drop that
full.
for everybody.
I put on the full, paranormal session. But I do like little promos. And one time I was doing a little promo, and I had the envoy on, yes or no, and I was just saying like, watch paranormal short session, da da da, and the envoy said no, and I was like, what do you mean no? They shouldn't watch. But anyway, and I said, my YouTube channel is Paranormal Short Sessions by Keith Evans, and then the envoy said yes. As if to say yes, he's right about that.
Right.
So I don't know why the envoy, the ghost of spirit, would say no to the title of my paranormal session. But that's usually the pattern that I do when I advertise my new paranormal, whatever the latest session is.
Oops. I'm trying to pop up your chat here. This. Okay, it's right here. So you guys definitely right here. Go check him out. This is his YouTube page.
Some people have a hard time finding it.
I dropped the link on it.
I'm not the most popular, channel. If you're watching it, you're not going to see anything evil or demonic, and you're not going to see me running and screaming and crying because a ghost is talking to me. So I'm not very popular, and I find that I have a hard time finding people's YouTube channels. And they get upset with me for not being a part of their YouTube channel. But when I do the search, some of these channels, everything comes up. Sometimes I scan for an hour and still haven't found anything close to their YouTube channel. So I will say, if you do a YouTube channel, come up with a name that is unique and short. I have found by having the logo or the title Paranormal Short Sessions by Keith Evans, I shot myself in the foot, because a long title like that is very hard to search for. Some people can. Some people go right to it and find it and click on it, but
You
I
can
haven't
change
been
your
that
name
lucky.
too. You can actually change your name, and YouTube is having it where, so people can't clone your channels. You're going to have the you're going to have your own personal, like mine's PDF or youtube.com/the @PDX Paranormal. And if somebody types that in, that can go right to my channel. And so YouTube's doing that for a lot of us. And even with a long name like yours, it should be easier to start finding probably right after the first of the year. Can I ask another question?
How much does that cost to get that app?
It's on YouTube. It's on your YouTube in your you go into your YouTube studio and you can change everything in there.
I see. I might already have it and just don't know it, but I do know that some people do have hard time finding my my YouTube channel, and I think a shorter, unique name is much better. Don't use any name that has ghosts in it, because if your name is Ghost Hysteria and there's a TV program on called Ghostbusters, that Ghostbusters is going to come up when anyone searches for you before they come up with Ghost Hysteria. So choose a name that is totally unique and short.
So can I ask you this? How long how have you been like a paranormal investigator or a paranormal enthusiast? How long have you been out there in the field doing this? And
well, I started when I was I guess about maybe 3 or 4, around that age.
wow.
I noticed that as an empath, I noticed, things that I was paying attention to that nobody else could care less about. And there was a house that I guess relatives of the Franklin side of my family had lived there from about the 1880s, 1860s. And they had this really interesting wood and grain wainscoting. And I love that stuff. It was shiny. It just looked so great.
Right.
And for a little kid, not even in school yet, everyone thought I was totally weird for liking this wainscoting. I still love wood and grain. If I go into a house of wood and grain, it just puts a smile on my face. So,
I hear
but
you.
I do feel as an empath, I'm feeling all the joy that wood and grain brought at that point in time. My past relatives who had lived there and who had loved that and was proud of it. You can be proud of your house or your car. And I feel that. When I go into a antique shop, by the way, I don't collect antiques. I don't think I have any in my house. But at the same time, when I go into an antique shop, I'm just happy-go-lucky. I feel good. And all I'm doing is picking up on all this joy that all these different antique objects brought their past owners. So I noticed that when I was a little kid. And my parents were really, really, they didn't like that. I mean, they were coming up with, I was either had a severe psychiatric problem they thought that I liked wood and houses, that I was probably gay. I thought my parents are nuts. I thought they were I thought they must be low IQ. That's the only thing I could think of.
Right.
Because everything they were accusing me of as a 3 and 4 year old, I know was a bunch of bullshit, to tell you the truth. And I thought, they're raising me? I thought, oh, darn, this is going to be a rough life. And it was. So I learned at a young age, don't say anything about empath. At that time, I didn't know the word. I didn't learn the word empath until maybe later on in life. I mean, I knew that I had all the feelings of an empath. I just didn't know to the detail that I know today or know the terminology. But I knew one thing, that I didn't have any psychiatric condition, and I definitely knew that I wasn't gay. So the bottom line was, I thought my parents were just, it was sad that I had the parents that I had, because my grandparents weren't all that weirded out about it. It seemed like they grew up in an era where paranormal was accepted, But my parents, they kind of grew up so damn conservative that if you didn't conform to a certain beat of the drum, they were ready to classify you and get rid of you, But anyway, I certainly knew that I was picking up on stuff that nobody else in my family was understanding or feeling. So I knew something was going on. And so I guess that's when I first started exploring to see. I wanted to go in every old house after that. And my parents always want to say, well, why do you want to go in that old house? For instance, if we were driving along the road and there was an abandoned old farmhouse, I'd want to go in it. And I would beg my parents to stop, and they would stop, but they wouldn't let me go inside because my father said that would be breaking and entering. But it was almost like the old farmhouses that we would go by. We lived out in the country, so it took us about 30 minutes to get to the grocery store. And along the way, most of the small farms, about 100 acres, were kind of being utilized by one farmer to farm like 300 acres so he could make enough money to live. So a lot of the old farmhouses weren't being utilized. I'd say every 2 out of 3 were just left because they couldn't afford to keep them up.
Are you an only child, or how many siblings do you have?
I have a stepsister.
Okay, good. So you don't know if anyone in your family has any gifts, just you, or nobody?
If they do, they haven't shared it.
Okay.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of stigma associated with that.
getting back to the farmhouses, I wanted to stop because I could feel the sadness of the family who had lived there in the past, who had passed away. There seemed to be most farmers, the farms had been passed down through generations. They weren't like most homes that had multi-families that aren't even connected who are living there, but most farms, the grandfather had farmed it or the great grandfather had farmed it. So some of these farms had been in the same family for, at least 100 years or so. You still there?
I'm still here. Yeah.
Okay, the phone's making that sound again, or as I'm holding it, it sounds like it's going to cut out. But anyway, so I was feeling the sadness that the family felt because their farmhouse was just going to, be torn down someday and unlivable. Because once the roof is compromised and termites get in there, it's way too expensive to fix up an old 2-story farmhouse. You just as well tear it down. So I was feeling the sadness, and it was almost like I could feel the ghost of spirits wanting me to buy the house and save it and fix it up. And I was like thinking, I didn't say out loud because my parents were there. I had to just kind of think to myself, I'm a little kid. I can't borrow money and buy a house.
Right.
Sorry, I'm just trying to go through the flood of comments here.
I think we lost him too. Let's do a commercial.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and hopefully Keith will make it back, and we'll be able to talk more about his experiences. So let's just go ahead and start some commercial.
Would you like to sit down with me for a minute? minute. And if you feel alone, if you're scared and you're scattered, take a look at yourself. Can you think of what matters? What matters is that you're taking all the love that you have and you're giving and you're living in a way I could say it's a way that radiates. What matters is that you're living in a way in which you wanna let love lead your feet when your fists wanna battle, when your cage's been rattled. What matters is all the love you provide just by being alive, all the tears that fill your cup. What matters is that you know you're a diamond in the rough, that you know you are enough, and that you know above all else, what matters is you.
Oh, hello. Maybe.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. We're all muted. We all supposed to be muted? Right? Okay, so I guess I'm the only one they can hear. Everybody's muted. I got a dog wanting to sit in my lap. Oh my God. Okay. Welcome to my crazy world. Yes, I'm going through and seeing. Hey, I don't know where these guys come from, but they're not. I just have to say this: they're not part of my trolls. I wish I had trolls like this. These guys are pretty entertaining. They really are. like that trippy cats. That's pretty cool. So
Right.
yeah, it's a legit channel. It's a legit channel.
So yeah, Keith, are you still with us? Okay, I'm not sure what's happening.
The aliens are coming. The aliens are coming.
Yeah, and I'm all out of tinfoil.
Ooh, should I go get mine? I got plenty.
Well,
Well,
let's
how's
give
your
this
day
more
been?
time.
Yeah, how's
It's
your day
going.
been?
I'm still working on the magazine, trying to get that set up so that it's ready to be released by at least
Nice.
December 5th.
Well, tell us more about this magazine because I would like to know.
I'm sure you would. So it's a View Beyond, and it is. Oh, there he is. I'll talk about the magazine later.
Okay.
So let's get Keith back in.
Apparently, when you
Yes.
took your break, it with the cell phone, it'll just log me out.
Huh.
So I had to go back through the studio again.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
that's odd.
Huh.
So, anyways, you were saying.
Are you still there?
Yeah, we're
Yes.
still here.
Can you hear us or see us?
Well, I have to turn the cell phone away from the part where I can see, so I can be
Okay.
seen. Can you see
Right.
me?
Yeah,
We
we can
see
see
you,
you.
yes. Even if you have it switched to, you're looking at us, we can still see you.
So see, this is me looking at you. You're probably seeing what I'm looking at, which is
Yeah,
the
now
wall and
the
the
wall,
window.
yes. Yes.
So with the laptop, then I can see you while you can see me. But this way, I can just, I'm the one that's looking at the front of my phone.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
So, what was your next question?
Shadows? Do you want to ask or?
Well, how many locations have you investigated?
I mean, that would be kind of hard to count over since probably 62.
Wait,
It would be really hard to say. I mean,
how old are you?
I'm 64.
What?
Yeah.
You're like 10 years older than me. Are you serious? Oh my gosh. Okay. You don't look it. I'm being honest with you. You don't look it. I didn't think you were that old.
Well, with all the aches and pains I had, if you ever saw me walk, you would know I was 64.
I hear you on that. I have a body of like of a 102-year-old. Definitely. So okay, because I can't even count how many places I've been. Which is your favorite location you like to investigate? Is it like cemeteries, or do you like to go investigate like urbexing old homes that nobody lives in? Or do you like to go to like battleships, or what do you like to do?
I like Victorian homes. I like
Okay.
the old 2-story homes that were built between anyone from Great Britain or Ireland. They have a different perspective of Victorian, but the style of home, or certain homes, not all homes, that were built between 1880 and 1920 were called the Victorian style. I think one of it was called the Queen Anne, and I forget the other names of the Victorian homes, but anyway, that's what I like. I like that time period there. And I like a home where a family had been there for 20 or 30 years.
Okay.
Back, say, when my grandparents were young, back in the 20s and 30s, people, if they bought a house, they lived there until they died.
And passed it
They
down.
didn't move around. Like with me, I was in the Army Reserves, the federal government, and I moved around a lot. And you didn't have that, say, 100 years ago. 100 years ago, people, if they bought a house, they lived there until they died. And
Yeah.
you have that connection between the house and the ghosts of spirits that lived there. It's their house. Even after they pass away, they still feel like they have a vested interest in that house, to the point they're going to look after it whether you're there or not, as far as the living owner.
Okay, so you like the Victorian homes. Do you like to go into homes where nobody lives anymore, that have been abandoned and stuff like that?
No.
You don't like to urbex?
I haven't found that many homes that fit that description. So, of course, when I was a kid, the farmhouses that I, as an empath, was feeling the sadness of the past families that had lived there, my father wouldn't allow me to go in. I probably would have had he not been there, which I could have gotten in trouble. But I figure if the property owner could care less about the upkeep of the house, they probably wouldn't care if you got into it. But anyway, my father had said no. That was the only time that I ever went into abandoned homes.
Okay.
Where I live at in Florida, and in the past Texas and Georgia and Maryland, I've not ran across that many abandoned homes to actually explore. So no, I would say that would probably be my least favorite.
Okay.
But I'm talking about homes that are well kept and have an owner. I just have a hard time getting permission to do paranormal research. If I get permission, it has to be on the down low where I don't tell anybody. So that means I can advertise, but I can't say where I'm at. And that's
Exactly.
like a real bummer when it comes to advertising. So many places, people, I think they watch TV programs. And I think with their lack of knowledge about the paranormal, they get upset and say, well, let's have somebody come in and check it out. And I don't charge anything. And, if I'm there a couple hours and I don't pick anything up, I'll just tell them, look, I've been here and I don't have any data to get to you. So, which doesn't, I'm not saying it's not
Right.
paranormal activity. I'm just saying that the ghosts or spirits are not showing themselves to me if they're here.
Right.
And I tell
Right.
people that ghosts and spirits come and go. They don't stay put all the time in one location.
So, Keith, hello again. I remember we chatted on my other show, Paracrew Podcast. So I know you're not a part of a team now, but one question I forgot to ask you on the other show was, have you ever been a part of a paranormal team?
Who's this, Matt?
Yeah.
No, I've never been a part of a paranormal team. From the time I first started doing paranormal research, which was very primitive, probably around 1962, up until I think the first paranormal program I saw on TV was probably around maybe in the 2000s, maybe 2000. Well, I remember when I was at Fort Hood with the Army Reserves in 2008, they had a lot of, I was living in the barracks and we had our own room. It was during the Vietnam War, they had used those billets for officers, but they were allowing the enlisted men to stay in them in 2008. And I shared a bathroom with my neighbor. And I remember seeing paranormal shows there. And so anyway, that's probably the earliest I remember seeing paranormal shows. So I didn't even know that people worked as teams. I had heard about Edward and Lorraine from Boston, Massachusetts. I'd heard about them because they were, I think one of the rock radio stations had mentioned they're, doing ghost hunting and stuff like that. And I had heard about the gentleman that wrote the book, Hans Holzer, and I've read some of his books as an adult. So they were about the only three people I knew that actually did paranormal research. I didn't even realize there were paranormal teams until I saw it on TV. And I've always done paranormal alone, mainly because where I lived at in Maryland and thereafter, most people would ostracize you to the point that I didn't even know of anyone who actually thought that ghosts existed to even team up with. So I certainly didn't mind doing paranormal research alone. In fact, I prefer it.
Can I ask you a question before I forget it because of my brain?
Sure.
When you go to a place like the Victorian homes or you go to families, because they need your help or whatever, do you want to go in blind, not knowing the history of a place? Because I'd rather go into a place blind. And that way, because I don't want my brain to be corrupted by people saying, oh, you can see that little girl, blah, 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 whatever. So what do you like to do? Do you like to know the history before you go in? Or do you like to try to
what I like to know? What I like to know is the actual history. I want to know the gentleman who lived there, what type of work he did. Was he a fisherman? Did he own a boat? I want to know that stuff. I want to know the wife that lived there. Did she sew her own dresses? I want to know enough to be able to ask questions to cause the ghosts of spirits, if they are there, to want to talk to me. So I don't really want to know what other people think about the paranormal or what they think they saw or whether they were frightened or anything like that. I want to know the facts about the owners that lived there. I want to know, things like what year it was built, so I can ask them questions about that. Whether there's any add-ons, because a lot of times owners are very proud if they can add on to their house and make it nicer. And if you can say, hey, in 1920, you added a room on, that's really nice. And then you're going to get a response from them, hopefully.
See,
So I that's what I want to know. I want to know the history of the house and the people that live there so I can ask good questions.
Okay, I get the history afterwards, and I totally get what you're saying. But a lot of times, I've had responses come through, and they're telling me the story, and then I compare that with afterwards and stuff. I think that's amazing when that happens. But that's me.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. And so, sadly, Keith, we do have to actually call it a night. There's another show coming on Paralinks. It's called The Unholy Trinity. I know Emmy's going to be a part of it. I haven't gotten a link myself yet, but knowing Howard,
we don't want you up there. We don't want you up there.
Fine, I see how it is. But
I'm going to
Keith,
drop his.
Go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry. I'm cutting you off because I do that. I'm going to drop his YouTube link again, you guys. Definitely go check him out. I got to find it again. Oh, my God.
Well, this might help you out. So if anybody would like to see more of Keith's videos, which they are good, please don't forget to subscribe. The link for his channel is in the description. So head on down. You can click on it. You can follow it right there. But Keith, great talking with hearing you guys. I've been listening. I've been busy. I have some other things I had to take care of, but it's been another pleasure, Keith. It's great seeing you again.
All right. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime, brother. And hope you have a great holiday if we don't get a chance to chat before then.
Definitely.
Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
Definitely check him out right here, you guys. Go check him out. Follow, like, don't forget to leave a comment because YouTube's really picky about that and they'll take your subscription away. So definitely watch a video, and he does shorts and they're pretty good. I've been watching them and I got to catch up on some more, but you guys, you know what? Definitely check him out.
100%. And don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that bell for him too.
And make that comment. Seriously, I like to try to comment on the videos.
Darn right. Keith, have a great evening, brother. We'll catch up with you another time.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Keith.
Bye-bye.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. I just got done doing what I needed to do. But thank you guys for hosting tonight. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm one of the hosts. Now these guys are fill-in hosts and secondary co-hosts. I don't know. Replacement.
I'm just here. I'm they use me.
I bribed Aaron.
And abuse me.
I bribed Emmie with cookies and Aaron with cupcakes.
Yeah.
Where's the puppy? Is it a baby puppy?
I'm still waiting on the cupcake. I'm still waiting on the cupcake because I gotta make my wife wear them.
All
right, well, hold on. If you're waiting for the cupcakes, let's ask the person in charge of that. Fedora, where's the cupcakes?
Fedora.
I love Fedora. But yeah, guys, definitely go check out Keith. His link is in the description. Show him some support because he's a great guy, really great guy. But guys, thank you so much for hosting while I was on a little bit of dealing with things. But it's great. I loved it.
I took a hard left turn there for a second.
Did you turn your turn signal on at least?
Well, when you said things and stuff and thing, all I heard was stuffing things. And I'm thinking, well, what the fuck are these stuffing? And with what?
No, the Wicked Consultant's not home. And but before we go, I have to do this. And to everybody out there, if you want to know more, go check out Unholy Trinity and Petri Dish. But to everybody in here,
no, no, motherfuckers.
Hey, a motherfucker I am and a motherfucker I may be, but the mother I fucked doesn't belong to me.
That needs to be on a shirt. That
Right?
really needs to be
Right?
on a shirt.
I would wear that. No, I wouldn't wear that shirt. I wouldn't.
This shirt?
I wouldn't. I said, hey, Raymond!
But anyway, guys, it's been a great night. Great podcast. Thank you guys again so much for hosting for us. I know Squeakers appreciates it. She's not feeling too hot. And Lurker, I know he's not feeling too good. You know, he's been busy. But I just want to answer a couple of questions. I saw a couple of questions come up. Somebody asked about bringing people on. Yeah, typically, unless it's an open mic, we do have a guest, and we try to show them that respect so that we could just focus on them to chat and everything like that. But every once in a while, we do have an open mic. That being said, Wednesday's Paracrew Podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern time will be an open mic. So please come on back. Yep, this Wednesday coming up,
I'm
7 p.m.
doing
Eastern.
something else. Raymond, I'm seeing that.
Fight on, brother. But
Spitfire.
Spitfire, that gets you a mod.
Oh, no, my God.
That gets you a mod,
People.
Spitfire. Yes.
Wow.
That's
You're
a wrench.
fucking ass kisser.
But
Wow.
but definitely, guys, Wednesday will be an open mic. So if you want to come back, hang out and chat about whatever you want to talk about, by all means,
What time
that'll be the time to do it.
What time
7
Wednesday?
p.m. Eastern time. So Emmie, for you, that'd be 4 o'clock. Aaron, that
I'm
will
gonna
be
be
6
busy.
for you.
6. Yep.
6. So, see,
I
they
gotta
get it.
go. I
They
gotta
get
go
it.
by. I gotta
They get
go.
They
Because
get
you
it.
guys, you know what?
They get it.
Guess what's coming up? Guess what's coming up?
Unholy Trinity.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait.
So,
Can't wait.
you guys, go, we will drop the link. I will share it out. James,
James, you're already a mod.
he's my brother, man.
Heart-
Okay, so you guys, same place where we were at earlier, the Swamp Talk, Paranormal Swamp Talk.
Mhm.
We're gonna be there again, so definitely come and check
Yep.
us out. I gotta go. Peace, love you all. See you there in a few.
Much love, Emmie.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a heart. Bye. I can't get out of here. There we go.
I'd hate to see her try to operate an actual door.
It's fun, but but no. So guys, again, Wednesday will be an open mic. So if you're interested, come back 7 p.m. Eastern time. And the other question I saw was that was not sugar. That was actually acetaminophen that he was taking for headaches. It's basically just a quicker version of Tylenol. A lot of places have it's like goodies or something like that. So, and
Yeah. Well, I would take BT powder, and instead of waiting 45 minutes for a pill to kick in, this kicked in about 10 to 15 minutes.
yeah, and I actually like those. It's just hard to find around here. But I want to thank everybody so much for coming on tonight. But again, like Emmie said, please head on over to Paranormal Swamp Talk and see the Unholy Trinity, which should be starting in just a few minutes. But like Aaron said, before we go, I do want to give my shout outs to obviously Maglite guys. Like they said, join the Maglite Nation. Go to maglite.com, sign up, do all that good stuff. They have merch, they have hats, they have everything you need. Yeah, Crafty, unlucky to walk. Same. But also I want to say thank you to Brian John, Parapost Network Central over there on Facebook, Global Ghost Hunt, Fear Fest New Orleans, which I will be attending. I'm so excited for that. My wife and I will be attending. And obviously Paralinks, which you can also find the Unholy Trinity, which I'm telling you guys right now, put the kids to bed. You don't know. That's an NC-17 show. You do not want to bring the kids for that one. And of course, I want to thank StreamYard. If you guys are thinking about doing a podcast, use the link in the description. It's my affiliate code. Go ahead and use it. You get a little bit of a discount, and you get full support with StreamYard. And honestly, guys, if my dumb ass can do it, you guys can do it. It's so super easy to learn, so easy to use, reliable. You can get on Twitch, you can get on Facebook, YouTube, and a bunch of other places. Twitch, it's great. It's a great platform. And I've tried others, but I'm staking here. So thank you, StreamYard, for letting me be an affiliate with you guys. And of course, much love to all my P3 family out there. Love you guys. So. But that's going to do it for tonight because I want to get over on Holy Trinity and find out what they're going to be doing because you never know.
Right.
And also, Aaron and I and a couple others, Raymond, are starting something new. We are starting something new. We have Ron from RRLC Paranormal, Mark Lee from Enlightened Souls Paranormal, one of our very good followers who's usually in the audience, Justin Curtis, and my brother-in-law, Ryan, a.k.a. Pop-Tart. We have started our own little channel called P3 Paranormal Gaming over on Twitch. You can go check us out there where we play Phasmophobia and soon a couple other games, I'm hoping. But
well, hopefully it won't be like 5 hours.
Hey, that was a fun stream. I don't care what anybody says. But you never know what we get into over there. Phasmophobia, for those of you who haven't seen yet, it is a ghost hunting game where the ghosts hunt you on top of that. So you're trying to figure out what kind of ghosts they are while they're trying to kill you. It is a lot of fun. We enjoy it a lot, and we're going to start doing that. We're going to probably, what were we saying, like maybe once a week do a live or something like that?
Yeah, once a week.
Or maybe like whenever we just feel like it. But again, it's over on Twitch, P3 Paranormal Gaming, and you can also find it here on YouTube, Facebook, a couple other places will have it. But yeah, so that's going to do it for us for tonight, guys. But thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time for the Paracrew Podcast, but also Monday at 9 p.m. for the Paracrew Podcast. I can't wait. So I think there's only one more thing left for me to say. Y'all have yourselves a great rest of your night. Have fun. Stay safe. And as always, guys, happy hauntings.
It's been coming up like sun above. It's making us come together. Been making plans and joining hands. Come by me, stand and come together. When they know we've had enough, they'll try and call our bluff. But no, there's no stopping us. We're making a promise. Yeah, we're starting up something. We're starting up something. Oh, yeah, we're starting up something. We're starting up something. Oh, we're starting up something. We're starting up something. Oh, yeah, we're starting up something. We're starting up something. They say we're weak when we don't speak, but they don't see us come together. Behind closed doors, we choose love, not war. It's at our core when we come together. They will hear us loud and clear. We'll walk right through the fear. And then once we'll all appear and say, we're standing right here. Come on. Yeah, we're starting up something. We're starting up something. Oh, yeah, we're starting up something. We're